Good day, followers of Yahuah. Peace and blessings be unto you all. Thank you all for coming to this channel. You know, this work we've been doing for Yahuah is to help those who genuinely want to know Him and genuinely want to understand Him. And this is why, as a follower of Yahusha, you have to be willing to receive this message because the person speaking might just be a vessel or is a vessel unto Yahuah to do his work. Yahuah pours out his wrath to those who speak, to those who have decided to do his work and to do his will and to do his way. So we're going to start with the opening prayer. Heavenly Father, we say thank you for today. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your mercies. Thank you for your kindness. We thank you for making us to be here today in your presence. Whether exalted o Yahuwah in Yahusha's mighty name. Father, I will come into your presence today to seek your face. Yahuwah, take absolute control, be with us, guide us. And Yahuwah, at the end of the day, you let us be worthy of your kingdom. When Yahusha's mighty name we pray. Amen. Yeah, so we are still going to continue with the biblical foundations. Um, and this is I think this is okay. Um, yeah, why? One, two, three, four, five. Yeah, this is sixth. The sixth commandment, which is thou shalt not murder, you shall not murder. That's Exodus 20, verse 6. But we're also going to read several parts of scriptures to buttress our point. So, Exodus 20, verse 6. You do not murder. That's just about it. And let's go to Genesis 9 from verse 5 to 6. Genesis 9 from verse 5 to 6. Let's let's read from verse 2. Um, and the fear of you and the dread of you is on every beast on the earth, and on the bed of the ground, on the bed of the Shamayim, on all that creeps on the ground, and on all the fish of the sea. And in your hand they have been given. Every moving creature that lives is food for you. I've given you all as green plants, but do not eat flesh with its life, its blood, but only the blood of your lives I require. From the hand of every beast I require it, and from the hand of man, from the hand of every man's brother I require the life of man. Whosoever shed man's blood, by man his blood is shed. For the image of Elohim has he made man. So, what he's saying is that Yahuwah doesn't want his children to murder, to kill someone. Um, and he says that whoever sheds blood, whoever shed blood, that by man his own blood will be shed. It's not going to take much time, so I'm going to basically say a lot of things, but I'm going to do it within the 15-minute mark. So, 30 minutes. So the reason why this part of the commandment is very important is because it boils down onto the second part of Yahusha's statement, which says, "Love thy neighbor as yourself." You know, the from the sixth to the remaining commandment, for the fifth to the remaining commandment is love thy neighbor as yourself. The first four is love Yahuwah. So if you love your neighbor, you no matter what your neighbor does to you, you will not wish to do him evil. You will not premeditate to do evil unto him. And he also said something very important. He said that if you that you have heard that you should not kill, right? But if you have premeditated on how you kill someone in your mind, then you've literally killed him. I think what's that part again? No, mm, I think Matthew 5. Mm, okay, wait, let me go. I think it's Matthew 5. Just something. Commands and teach me. Okay, this one is different. Yes, Matthew 5 from verse 21. You have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not murder. Whoever murder shall be liable to judgment. But I say to you that whoever is brought with his brother without a cause shall be liable to judgment. Whoever says his brother Raka shall be liable to the Sanhedrin. And whoever says you fool shall be liable to the fires of Gehenna. That's hellfire. So Yahweh is saying that if you just hate somebody without a justification for you hating the person has not done anything wrong to you. The person has not like the person has not done any sort of evil whatsoever to you. You just hate the person just because you just look at the person and you hate the person, that you are liable to for judgment. If you go ahead and insult that person, like you just speak evil against him, you call him insult, you mock him and stuff, you are liable to the Sanhedrin. That's to the judge, because at that point you have the capacity for evil. And when you say you fool, when you destroy the life of your fellow brother without cause, and you call him a fool for that, then you are liable to the fires of Gehenna. Now, it might not be exactly what it is, but it is something that applies to real life. Because one thing about the Bible is that the Bible is an action book. It's a book that applies to real life. This is why when people say that the Bible is a book of the Europeans, I just look at them and laugh. Because the Europeans have their own culture, and the Bible never relates to them. The Bible never speaks about them. Even when the Bible speaks about them, it calls them Gentiles and heathens. That's what it calls them. It calls them Gentiles and heathens. I did a video where I talked about the Tuskegee experiment and what it did to the black people in general. And one thing you have to realize is that these things, many of the things that have been going on in 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 America, most especially amongst black Americans, as well as here in this part of the world in Nigeria, it's by design. A lot of our people don't understand just how deep and how dark human beings can really be. I used to see some videos on IG. Sometimes it's very heavy for me to be watching those kind of things for, and it's very annoying to be watching those kind of things. But there are some videos I used to watch on Instagram where you will see black Americans killing each other, and they, you know, like I said, it's not good for the soul. It got to a point I had to stop using Instagram altogether. So, but apparently, this is what is actually going on, and people now are like, our people have normalized violence. Our people have normalized violence in the sense that if they take the life of their fellow human being, it really doesn't affect them. And this just goes to show that so many of these people are practicing bloodletting. That's basically like killing people and letting, like, basically like killing innocent people. where they murder innocent people. And it has been since the time of Yahsharel, the kings would sacrifice the children of Yahsharel to other Allahims. And, you know, our sellouts leaders, because of the small change that they were getting, so that their own people to be destroyed. And the country, I won't even say the country, because I have no nationality to this country, but I have no loyal like, allegiance to this country. But why should I have allegiance to a nation that has been oppressing me? The state of our people right now is that of apathy. If somebody dies, no one can attend to that person. No one can, find a way to bury that person or something. Everybody just goes, their own way. One thing you also have to understand is that in Nigeria, this issue of killing is not a new phenomenon. Like they've literally been killing so many. Like a lot of Nigerians were killed by Nigerians, are still being killed by Nigerians, not terrorists, not Fulani herdsmen. No, like literal fellow Nigerians that you see walking on the streets. Because 2020, 2019, 2018, there was severe cases in Lagos of kidnapping. Because one thing that used to happen was that there used to be something called night terrors, where the moment you move out at night, like on public transport, and you are not in the midst of people, like maybe you are alone or you are like one or two there are like one or two persons in the bus, that makes you like a victim for kidnapping. They can just gas the whole place, or somebody can just sit beside you and then just put something around, and then before you know it, you are in a forest, you don't know what is happening there. And from what I'm hearing, they used to cannibalize these people. They'll cut off their head, cut off their legs, remove, if they are women, they'll remove their boobs. If they are men, they'll cut the private part, and then they'll dump their body on Lagos Road. And this has been going on for a very long period of time, until when Kasala burst now, and Nigeria has become extremely unsafe because of the result of the actions of these wicked people who are seeking after wealth. You have to understand something. Everything that has been going on in this country has been something that has been existing for a while now. There is no change, there is no difference. It's just that now it's on a much larger scale because now your eyes cannot avert it, and it's by design. Yahuah has told us to not murder, to not take a life, because the same way you took a life, an innocent life, is the same way that life will be taken from you. If not by if not by someone else, then most definitely it will be by someone else. It will be by someone else. Because you claim the life of another person, and you've destroyed that family, the family of that person. Of course, those people are going to cry out to Yahuah, and Yahuah is going to answer their prayers. Because Yahuah is a righteous Elohim. Is an Elohim of vengeance. Literally, is an Elohim of vengeance. So he's going to return back the amount of evil that you have caused innocent people. That's why you see so many of these people, they don't have peace. You know, so many of these people that they've done ritualistic killings, they don't have peace. They don't have peace because now, one thing before it's time for them to die, We used to sit in movies, but ritualists, before it's time for them to die, they usually see the spirit. It's mostly a demonic spirit because actually you can't, like, the ruach. Once the ruach leaves them, there's no way for them to attach themselves to this world. But demons usually oppress them a lot because now they've opened the gates to their destruction. They've opened the gates to so many vile demonic spirits. And that's one thing that happens when you take a life, especially as a child of Yahsharel. That's why you see so many of these cult people. One thing that they've done, yeah, let me not go there yet, but that's why you see so many of these cult people. Well, once they kill somebody and they now spin the block on them, that instantly they are gone. And the people that are associated with them too are also dead. You see, one thing they've done in our universities, and this is why I say that this Nigerian system is a highly oppressive system, and I don't want to be part of it anymore. In our universities, I'm sure I'm going to say this too in the assembly, so that whoever is still in universities, the public universities, Nigerian public universities, you know, they have to, be careful to not be around cultists. In universities, public universities, not private, because you will barely see any private universities that have cultism. But yes, in public universities, there have always been issues with cultism. And the root of cultism started during Wale Soyinka's time, from the very beginning of confraternities. That was during the Civil War, when Nigerian students too were being killed like animals. So they wanted to create a way to export the violence, so that rather than Nigerian students coming together in unity, because one thing that the Nigerian government usually have issues with were Nigerian students. So in order to destroy the students from unionizing and creating a better society for themselves, what they did was that they institutionalized confraternities, but they didn't do it in the public. They did it in such a way that the confraternities would be given access to weapons, and they will use it against each other, and they will be funded by the government. And this is why, in order for you to get to any positions of power in this country, you need to have an association with a confraternity. I'll tell you this, and listen well. In order for you to have any form of position or authority in this country, you need to have some allegiance to a confraternity. In Nigeria, the two biggest confraternities are IE confraternities and Black Arts confraternities. Those are the two biggest. They are the confraternities that basically almost all your celebrities are in. And the the 90% of the confra boys that are extremely gullible, that will not target the people that are destroying them, because these people that are in the higher echelons of these confraternities, they don't fight each other. They want you to fight each other for their entertainment. So you are fighting, killing your fellow brethren, shouting and chanting and saying all this nonsense, while the highest echelons of power, the people who actually control your confraternities from the shadows, those ones are basically telling you, those ones are basically laughing at you, geeking ear to ear, that see these people, they are just making mockery of themselves. I tell you, your celebrities are in confraternities. your politicians are in confraternities. They have to be. The elder ones are in the Ogboni confraternities. Those are the elderly ones. But the younger ones and the middle aged ones, they are either in Aye or Black Acts. And what is the main thing that these confraternities are known for? Murder. Yes. They are known for murder, mostly assassinations, ritualistic killings, kidnapping, money laundering. Well, yes, somewhat money. Somewhat terrorism. When our people have decided, rather than using the strength and the power they have to protect their fellow brethren, the 90%, they use it to oppress and destroy the 90%, and they use it to kill each other. Let's go into the writings of the Testament of Yahudah. What's wrong with this one? Testament of Yahudah basically tells us some things, some very amazing things. I think it's Yahudah or Dan. Uh, uh, Walk after the rush. Keep the same. Alright. Don't walk after an imagination of your own thoughts. Growing up from common. Mm, mm, mm. Hold on, I'm coming. Alright. So the book of Yahudah or the book of Judah, chapter 4, from verse 8. From verse 8, I think, to 12. Okay. For the sovereign shall be as sea monsters. They shall swallow men like fishes. The sons and the daughters of free men shall they enslave. Houses, land, flock, and money shall they plunder. With the flesh of many they shall wrongfully feed the ravens and the cranes, and they shall advance in evil, in covetousness uplifted. One thing you have to understand is that murder comes with covetousness. Now, this is basically talking about oppression. I'm going to get to some things here. But murder comes with covetousness. It comes with the greed for gain. But even more with that, there are some murders that come out of spite and hate. Murder first starts in the heart. There is one thing you have to understand. Murder first starts in the heart. You for the moment you start to think about killing an innocent person. Oh, no, no, I think my network might be having some issues. But the moment you start to think about killing an innocent person, that's the moment you committed the sin of murder. Now, it's up to you to take action whether you if you commit to that action of killing someone, then that means that you are a murderer and the blood of that person is on your hands. Just like how the blood of Abel was on Cain, and Cain went to diverse torment. Because one thing that your Bible did not paraphrase or did not tell you was that Cain suffered all throughout his life while he was still alive before he was shot down with an arrow by Tubal Cain when he was mistaken for an animal. Cain mental, like his mind was so, because of the murder, because he killed his own brother in cold blood without any justification. Yahuah punished him in 7 different ways to the point where his mind was completely broken. He was just wandering aimlessly until he was shot down by his own great grandchild. was shot down with an arrow. That's where he died. You can go and read that in I think the writings of Abraham and the book of Enoch. You can go and read it in those two books. Yeah, let me continue. And there shall be false Nebim like tempests, and they shall persecute all righteous men. And Yahuah shall bring upon them divisions one against the other. And there shall be continuous wars in Yahsharel. This is how you know that we are also children of Yahsharel. It's not just Deuteronomy 28. There shall be continuous wars in Yahsharel. That means the children of Yahsharel will continue to fight each other in one way, shape, or form. And one of the ways that I could confirm that, our people, Yoruba people, were part of the 12 tribe was because when I checked through the histories of war, I found out that there were so many wars in Yoruba land, so many wars that where our people they were just constantly killing and attacking each other, and it's still happening to now. But this one is on a much smaller scale. It's on a much smaller scale, and it's also in a bigger scale because now it's the people against the government. Because now people are starting to gear up for civil war part two. So that's why they have to continually delude themselves that, oh, get your PVC and stuff, jargons. Rather than you preparing for Zion, you are preparing people for the next round of oppression that you are going to receive in the next 4 years. Let's continue. And among men of other race shall my sovereignty be brought to an end until the deliverance of Yahsharel shall come. This is why the people who kill each other and then another nation will not enjoy what we have. So even in Yahsharel there's no solidarity. Even in Yahsharel there's no solidarity. A Yoruba man can castigate an Igbo person. An Igbo person do not like an Hausa person and a Yoruba person. Well, no, they I'm not sure. An Igbo person does not like an Hausa person. An Hausa person doesn't like Igbo. Igbo doesn't like Yoruba. Yoruba doesn't like Hausa. It goes on and on and on and on like that. And that is how the cycle of violence and hatred spins around amongst the children of Yahsharel. Because our people have decided to rebel against Yahuah's commands. That's why I usually pity for those who are still in the churches because their future is not looking too bright. Honestly, it's not looking too bright. Now, I want to go into something that many people you need to understand. Look at this. In the book of Dan, it says, now this is the spirit of anger that persuaded me to crush Joseph as a leopard crushes a kid. But okay, no, sorry, this is the wrong one. Mhm. Now listen to this. Book of Dan, chapter 2, verse 4 to 5. Remember when I said murder starts with hate, and murder brings forth the spirit of covetousness. For the spirit of anger ensnares him in the net of deceit, blinding his eyes literally, darkening his understanding by the means of a lie, and provides him with his own peculiar perspective. What this means here is that when you are angry, now when you're angry in any way, shape, or form, you will feel justified in your eyes for the actions you're about to take. Yes. This is why sometimes when I hear about the situations of this country, I get angry at first, but then I think down, I sit down, and I try and like fill myself with the words of Yahuah or sing songs or just do something else entirely. I'm not doing this to basically like say like ignore the situation of the country, but it's basically to clear my mind so that I do not fall into this spirit of anger and allow the spirit of anger to fester inside me for long. Hold on. Because in your eyes, you might think that what you are doing is right, you know, until you take a life. Because one thing about anger is that anger will cause you to take a life. Anger will cause you to kill someone. Now, let's continue. How does it encompasses the eyes? By hatred in the heart. It gives him a particular disposition to envy his brother. Hatred, envy comes with hatred. Hatred comes with anger. Anger comes with murder. Murder comes with either loss or covetousness. Anger is evil, my children, for it becomes the motivation force of being itself. This chapter 3. That force has a strange effect on the body of an angry man. It dominates his being and provides the body with a peculiar power so that it can accomplish every torahless act. That's the spirit of anger, the spirit of rage, the spirit of wrath. It's one thing you have to understand about the spirit of wrath is that it gives you strength where you never had strength in. It fuels, it gives you a different level of strength. It gives you a different level of power than if you are just like normal, like just like doing your normal thing than any other emotion. The spirit of anger also comes with the spirit of strength. The ruach of anger also comes with the ruach of strength, but not the strength of Yahuah. Because remember, it says in the book of Dan chapter 3 that the strength, the purpose of that strength is to perform every torahless act, every lawless act. That is the purpose of that strength. So while the being acts, is justified, it justifies whatever it does since it lacks discernment. So then whoever is angry with a powerful person has triple strength by reason of his anger. So imagine a big buff guy who is angry. You know how terrifying that would be. That would be extremely terrifying. First, through the power and support of his subordinates. Second, through his wealth, by which he can win by persuasive acts and triumph in injustice. Third, he has a natural force of his own body, and though and through it he accomplish evil. But if the angry one is a weak person, his strength is twice of nature, for anger always supports such a person in their transgression. This spirit mixes with lying. You just see what just happened here. This is why when we tell people that to read the book of the lost books and the book of the Apocrypha, especially the Christians, they'll start shouting, it's not canonical, it's a demonic book. But guess what? Many of these things are proven to be true because an angry person can do a lot of damage. An angry person can literally do a lot of damage, can kill. And this goes to show that murder begins at the heart because murder first starts with anger. Anger starts with envy. Hatred, spite starts with envy. This is why you see white people, one thing they've perfected is weaponization. How can we create a weapon that can kill a child of Yahsharel in less than a second? That's why they created the gun. And with just a trigger happy white racist white person, once they pull that trigger, the person life is gone. And it's not just limited to Yahsharel alone because guess what? Even the Gentiles have suffered in the hands of these so-called white people. Because one thing you have to understand is that the children of Esau, historically and spiritually, they have great envy for the children of Yahsharel. Even till now, if you see it in their discourse, That's why somebody told me that all what white people talk about is just black people. You know, I've even heard it on the internet. They say all what white people talk about is just black people. How they are afraid of them, how they translate this fear to envy. And the envy they translated it to hatred. And then the hatred they translated it into murder. That's why you see so many white people are in the police force. So many. So many of them are in the police force. And let's bring it back home. That's why you see so many of our people who have money isolate themselves because they are afraid of what will happen to them. They are afraid of the situations and the circumstances that they have created. Because, yes, they created this kind of environment for our people. One thing you have to understand with the children of Yahsharel is that any room to oppress each other will take it. Because it will be very foolish to not take it. Because if you don't take it, then someone else will take it, and that someone can do times two can cause times two more times 10 more damage than what you can or what you can ever think of. So when our people so when our people, start to see other people thriving and succeeding, the spirit of envy comes in. It lies to them. It gives them sweet lullabies, sweet nothingness. One thing you should do is this. This is how it's going to be. It will be like, but I know this stuff. I'm skilled in this. I can do this. I can do that. I have so much potential. Sorry, let me just. You have so much potential. You have so much. Look at this person. You can't do half of the things you do, but yet he has gotten all these opportunities before you. Are you going to take it like that? You know, are you just going to let this person just take your spots? That's where the spirit of anger now starts to creep in. Strength to start to the person might nurture that anger for years until when it's now time to strike, when the other person is vulnerable. Because the spirit has swelled inside him for such a long period of time. He now finally has the chance to act. Of course he will take that opportunity. Now this can come with slander, destroy murdering somebody's reputation. Because you have to remember, you don't just murder people in the flesh, you also murder them mentally, spiritually, and even their reputation. You can murder people's reputation. It's not just physical. If you kill them physically, there are repercussions to that. So people will not want to do that, but they can't destroy their reputation. They can forge a lot of things about innocent people. Because one thing about people with spite and anger and envy is that they are all uncalculated variables. They tend to do things that would even shock you as a person because you'll be like, I can't believe this person did this to me. Oh boy, yes, he did. He's a human being and is liable to receive the spirit of envy and the spirit of lust and the spirit of anger. Okay. So the person might be liable to receive the spirit of lust, the spirit of anger. So they are willing to do and undo. And that's the power of the spirit of anger. which leads to their murder. Yeah, the Spirit always makes you line at the right hand of Belial in order that such deeds may be done through savagery and deception. Through savagery and deception. You see what's going on with our people. Savagery, acting like animals, indecent. We're not trained by proper. Is it that they were not trained properly, or they were trained but they did not, they refuse to learn? That's why you see so many people. How can One thing you always have to consider at the back of your mind is, how can, as a university student, how can how can someone have access to a gun? Like literally, even if their parents were in the police force, they're not supposed to have access to it. The spirit of Belial lies, fighting for a cause that is not real, and committing savagery and deception amongst their fellow brothers and sisters, all because of what associations. Confratern- Confraternities have got to be the most stupidest thing that our people embark upon. Like literally, you kill a fellow brethren, a brother, a sister, because of your own allegiance to a satanic cult, and then you think Yahuah is going to let you go scot free. No, he will never leave you. He will never leave like Yahsharel unpunished. He will never leave the people of the covenant unpunished, no matter how much savagery and brutality you can do to a person. Yes, some of the things that we're going through, we deserve it. We deserve it because we are a people unwilling to change. And sometimes you literally have to use shock to bring people to the truth. You literally have to use terror to bring people to know the truth. Because all your lives you've lived in lies. All your lives, Yahsharel, you have lived in lies. You've you've shed the blood of innocents like it's water, like it means nothing to you. And you think Yahuwah is going to let you go scot free. No. Somebody comes back from work, waiting to see his family, only for him to not go back home the next day. Just And you do it to serve the interests of people who don't even like you, who despise your very existence, because your leaders work for the 13 royal families, work for this satanic bloodline. They are mere stooges in their eyes. That's what they are. You call them your president, but to these people, they are mere stooges. They are boy. And even them, those mere stooges of the 13 um, bloodline family of Esau, even those people are calling you boy. So she like how they used to say to you about she how do you say it? Ṣé ayé ẹ kò ti bàjẹ́ báyìí? Like literally, has your life not spoiled? Can you not sit down and think about the meaning for your existence rather than you being stooges for your oppressors? Because these people can leave. Yes, you might be able to live or sure, but how far will you go? Because one thing you have to realize is that Yahuwah never, when someone commits sin, the consequence will always follow him. Yahuwah will never let you go once you shed innocent blood. He will never. Why do you think the descendants of Yahsharel, the ones who persecuted Yahusha, were were taken as slaves to the four corners of the earth? Okay, so one more Bible verse for today, and we'll call it a day. That'll be then okay. Leviticus 24:21. Leviticus 24:21. Okay. And he who smites a beast repays it, and he who kills a man is put to death. That's the law of Yahuwah. Your stupid churches will be telling you the law is done away with because that's what they are, stupid. They'll be telling you the law is done away with, but Yahuwah has made it clear that the law that he has set for Yahsharel and the foreigners that cling to them is forever, meaning it is from eternity to eternity. You kill a man, you will be put to death. If man does not kill you, Yahuwah will kill you. If man does not kill you, Yahuwah will kill you. Yes, Yahuwah kills. Yahuwah does not spare even the elect. Yes, that's true. Yahuwah doesn't even spare the elect. But does that mean he's a wicked Elohim? No. So one thing, children of Yahshua, you know, for those hearing me who are in the truth, I hope this message has blessed you. For those hearing me who are not in the truth but would like to know more, and yeah, congratulations, welcome to this channel, and watch more of our subsequent videos. We also do like Shabbat meetings where we basically talk about a lot of things. Our Shabbat meetings usually hold for like 3 to 4 hours. So if you come in live, just know that you are in for a very lengthy discussion. And um, what else? What else? What else? If you are an unbeliever and you end up in this channel and then you listen to what and then you have any reservations, if you have any reservations, if you have any questions, send us an email or send us an email, tell us hi, and we would basically like chat you up and stuff like that. We'll introduce you to our group. We will teach you all what you need to know, give you like a proper head start on all what you need to know when coming into the truth. But if you are here for insults, please just spare us the time and do whatever you need to do. Spare us the time and just go about your day. It's not by force you have to watch the channel. It's for those who actually want to listen to the truth. Honestly, it's not for people who are coming here to debate. That's why we said in the beginning of our channel that this channel is not for Christians. Because we know that those are the demographics of people that like to debate a lot. And one thing Yahuwah has made us to be conscious of is time. It's time. So we need to set time for everything that we do. Just as I have set time to speak on this platform concerning certain things. So thank you all for listening and make the most about your shalom.